everybody, thank you so much for tuning in with Thom, and I am backstage at the Tralf with a very special guest, national recording artists, and I don't know, I guess kind of casual acquaintance, friends, however you want to call it, Gil Assayas. Gil,
thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for being here. First off, let's talk about, if we're going to talk about something, let's talk about this little...
Oh, yes, please. Let's talk about it.
All right, so this is what you're recording under, Glasses, right?
Yeah, that's my first full-length album that I just released a few months ago.
Okay, this is still available, I assume?
Yeah, you can get it online, like physical copies, and it's available to stream everywhere.
All right, well, we were listening to it on the car on the way to the gig today, and of course, you know, on the back of it here, it's signed. The reasons it's signed is because a lot of artists today, the way they get their albums started is with, this was a Kickstarter campaign, right?
That's right, yes. So I did a Kickstarter for it, and I was really blown away by the support, especially by the support of the Utopia and, you know, Todd Rundgren community, who really were amazing and all just helped me out a lot with that. So I really appreciate that.
Well, everybody's really embraced you in the Todd Rundgren community. And I think we, you know, at one point you were saying when you were called up is that you hadn't even heard of any Utopia music.
Yeah,
when you got the
unfortunately,
gig.
because, you know, I love the music, and if someone had showed me that when I was a teenager, I'd have, you know, devoured it. But unfortunately, I hadn't heard of the band until I got the gig, but now I'm a fan.
So you did the Todd Rundgren shows, which were really cool. Todd Rundgren's Utopia, obviously, and this is, I believe, your second tour with Kasim Sultan's Utopia, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So what's the big difference as far as, I don't know, just maybe the material? I mean, I don't want to necessarily ask you which one you prefer because that would be unfair, but you know, what are the experiences like?
Well, some of the songs are the same as the ones we did in the reunion, but I think Kaz, you know, pick the songs that he likes best from the Utopia repertoire. So there is some overlap, but there are a lot of songs that I was unfamiliar with that I'm having a lot of fun playing. You know, it's obviously the shows are different. We're not playing big theaters. We're playing smaller venues, but there's something cool about that. There's kind of more of an intimate vibe to it. Like we played Daryl's house a couple nights ago, which was amazing. You know, it's a different energy than you'd get in a theater where I can barely see the audience.
And Daryl was at Daryl's house, right?
Did
you get a chance to meet him?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to meet him, but apparently he enjoyed the show, or so he says. I don't know what he's really thinking.
Well, he worked with Kasim a long time ago, so I know Todd produced an album and some of the Utopia guys were on it. Yeah. All right, I don't want to take up a lot of your time because I know you got to get dressed and you got to do a show. And
I can do it right now.
All that kind of stuff. You know, I saw you on that tour for the White Album. I mean, I'm just wondering what kind of experience that was like. I mean, you met and played with some of the biggest names in recording history. I mean, you got Joey Mellon, Badfinger, Christopher Cross. I mean, what was that experience like for somebody that was really out for the first time? I mean, other than the Utopia tour on a national tour.
Yeah, that was amazing. I loved it. Mickey Dolenz is, you know, I just got to meet these guys who are just incredible people. You know, we had a lot of fun together, and everybody was just like really sweet and nice and friendly, and we were all on a bus together, just having good times. You know, I heard a lot of stories firsthand from these people that I probably would never get a chance to hear. So it was incredible. Awesome.
Well, it was an incredible show, and I absolutely loved it. So, and I'm looking forward to tonight as well. Gil, as I mentioned before, it was such a thrill to be able to interview you at that time before you started that first Utopia tour, and every time I see Gil on the road at a show, he always makes sure he stops and says hello. And I don't think your wife's with you this time, but
no, not this time.
Very sweet lady as well.
Someone's got to work. All right. Out here,
that's great. Excellent. Thank you so much, Gil.
Thank you, Thom.
And again, don't forget, Glasses, get it. It's a great album. You'll enjoy it. Todd Rundgren's on this one as well.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks for tuning in with Thom. All right, we're back tuning in with Thom again. We got another member of Kasim Sultan's Utopia. I hope I don't pronounce the last name. It's Andy Ascolese, right?
That's it.
Excellent. All right.
Thank you so much.
So very nice to meet you in person. Well, I've seen you a couple times at different shows, and I'm part of your Kickstarter campaign. We were just talking about Gil. So where's that at right now?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I am still in the midst of recording it. I started sending some stuff to a mix engineer already, and hoping for a May release.
So most people think of you, you know, especially on this tour, as just a drummer, but you know, you're from what Kasim told me when I interviewed him as a preview for the show. He said you were like a jazz trained pianist or something?
Yeah, I went to college and studied jazz piano, but I always played drums and piano when I was since I was a little kid, and studied throughout high school and college, and basically, if someone needs someone to play bass or something, I'll jump in and do it. So that's what's been going on.
So you were like the MacGyver of Blue Oyster Cult, from what I remember. If somebody didn't show up, you just sort of
yes, all those stories are true.
One other project I want to talk about quickly as well is that you're involved with a Meatloaf production as well. What's the specifics on that?
So basically, it is Meatloaf's touring band that has been touring with him, for the past 20-something years, and Meatloaf has had some back problems and some surgeries, and he's semi-retired. He hasn't really officially retired, so the band wanted to continue bringing his music out and performing it, so they got this American Idol winner, Caleb Johnson, who could be a miniature version of Meatloaf, and it sounds great. And we're doing some tours, and I'm playing piano in that band.
Oh, awesome! So that's a show that's going to be going on the road at some point.
Yeah, we do weekends here and there, and we're coming out to the Midwest in April, St. Louis area, Arcata Theater in St. Charles, and yeah.
Well, we'll have to get you out to Buffalo at some point. It must be cool to be playing out with a guy that was on the album, such a huge part of the album.
That's true.
I don't think anybody thought that album was going to be a thing when it first was recorded.
No, it's exciting.
All right. Well, awesome. Again, social media places, where can people find out about your Kickstarter campaign, all that good stuff?
AndyAscolese.com. It has links to Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff.
Okay. Well, awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Andy.
Thank you.
You have a good one. All right, final interview with the Kasim Sultan's Utopia. I got Bruce McDaniel. Now, Bruce, you were kind of a surprise last-minute addition to this tour.
I was as surprised as you, yeah.
Now, Gil could probably appreciate that, because Gil was the last-minute addition to a tour as well, sort of called in at the last minute to salvage a tour.
Yeah.
What was the phone call like, and how did they find you?
Well, it's funny because I've been in touch with Kasim for the last couple of years, just on and off. After he did a show with my band, the Ed Palermo Big Band, and we just stayed in touch. And I would always sign off with, if I can ever do anything for you, you let me know. And he called me about a month and a half ago and said, would you be available to spend, the next month? Hi, Randy.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no worries, Randy.
This is Randy.
Hi, everybody.
Out on the road with doing Kasim Sultan's Utopia, and I said, of course, I wouldn't miss it if it would do the job. And so it was, I had to learn all the material pretty quickly, but I was a big Utopia fan, so. It wasn't work, it was pleasure to learn it.
No, I mean, at Palermo, you guys do like a Zappa Rundgren thing too. That's pretty unique.
Yeah, and that's ultimately how we met Kaz, was that Todd came and performed with us one night, and that got us into the the sort of circle of things. And Ed, who's very familiar with Todd's music, was not as familiar with Utopia. And so I pitched the idea of doing some Utopia stuff, and he said, great, so send me things so that I can listen to it. So I sent him all the stuff that Kaz normally sang. And he picked which tunes he wanted to do, and then Kasim came and did it and knocked it out. It was great.
So this tour, what was maybe the song that was the most challenging for you to pick up? I know you're playing Caravan, which to me, I mean, there's some great stuff on there too. Swing to the Right. There's a lot of guitar-heavy stuff.
There's a lot of stuff there. I said this to the other guys the other day, is I've played much more difficult music in the sense of, playing some very complex Zappa things, and I play those things all the time. But there's a lot of tricky stuff. This music is deceptively difficult. It's not obviously difficult. We are playing some of the more hardcore bits of Utopia, like the Icon and some bits of the Utopia theme and things like that, and that requires the same kind of attention to the prog detail, if you will. But even the pop stuff is really pretty difficult for me to kind of remember all the little bits and bobbles. I think probably things like Road to Utopia and Caravan and stuff like that are pretty deep.
Yeah, they're awesome. Well, we appreciate you being on this tour and everything like that. So, welcome to the world of Utopia. You're going to be stalked by all the fans.
Thank
like
you. I
me.
love
And,
all those fans.
You know, it's always good seeing Randy. He's been hanging
Everybody-
around for years as well.
I said this to Kasim after the first couple of shows. I said the fans of this band are unbelievable.
Yeah.
They are a really intense and kind and community-based fan base. It's really amazing.
Yeah, we do love this music.
Yeah.
Well, Ted, welcome to the community.
All right, thank you.
you so much. And you've been tuning in with Thom.